Hello!
Hi!
Welcome back to another episode of the Chattercast. Kind of disappeared last few weeks, but it's fine. DMT, speaking of disappearing, is finally back, alive. Tyler, where have you been? Today our guest, DMT.
It varies from jail to dead to going to 7-Eleven for a pack of smokes. But yeah, no, I'm back. I'm good and back.
What happened? Where did you go? You just disappeared. You tweeted
I ex-
BRB, and then
I
you just...
explored.
Yeah.
I explored the realms of the outer net. I much prefer the
Outernet.
internet and Pokemon greater than IRL. I guess is the conclusion we could draw from me coming back.
So, to get this straight, you tweeted BRB, and then just disappeared without telling anyone.
Well, yeah,
To be fair, he did tweet BRB.
I did. To be honest, to be fair,
He made an effort.
to my credit.
Yeah, we thought you were dead, friend.
Yeah,
Like, we were looking up, like, Canadian
So-
news stories about
So much.
people named Tyler dying. Like,
In this place or that place. Nah, dog, I'm here.
There was a lot of people missing you. Like, I joined the UU room most nights, and people like Nightmare Vampire shout out in this video. There you go, Nightmare Vampire. People like that constantly like, have you seen DMT? No, have you? No.
My favorite though, like
the best,
what made it all
this
worth
is when we did the mute
Mute
bot.
for DMT.
the
Mute for
haiku.
Tyler.
The
Yes.
haiku. What our Kex haiku, that was so great.
The haiku. I know what you're talking about now.
Links will be down below.
Enough of me. How about this Pokemon game?
So,
Yeah.
we've been gone a little bit, and during that time, a lot of things have happened on the competitive scene.
Yeah.
Mainly, Aegislash. The suspect finally finished up. Outstanding, like, huge overkill. 2% ban over not ban. But
Yeah.
a majority is a majority, and 62%
I mean,
wanted to ban it. And OU has been changed forever. What are your thoughts, Gumi? You're an OU player.
Alright, so, in my personal opinion, it shouldn't have been banned in the first place. But now that it is banned, I can see merits in why people would want it to be banned, but I also think that the OU metagame is kind of worse off now that it's gone. It kind of just opened up a lot of stuff that is hard to actually check now. Like, Mega Metacham is really gross. There are no switch-ins, and Mega Heracross is really, really good, and basically all of the things that people wanted to get better because Aegislash would be gone became really, 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 really good, and it kind of, there was like a 2-week period where the metagame was completely broken again.
They became really good. Could you say ban-worthy?
Mega Metacham it's even Mega Heracross. I mean, it's just there's no switch-ins to anything. The thing is either you're running hyper offense and you just stack them on to one of those, and then try to check it, or stall is harder now, basically.
Well, to be fair, Stall had it off pretty easy, and Stall is
Yeah.
still a really good playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I just kind of feel like it changed the meta. I don't know if it actually made it better, you know?
Yeah, the meta was getting really stale, and they wanted to throw like a curveball in to see what they could do, kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. And, I mean, just stuff like Mew is really, really good now. Slowbro is amazing because it honestly has perfect typing for the entire tier. And the other thing that's really annoying is there's no reason to play anything other than Sand Offense because Aegislash was the spin blocker, and it doesn't exist anymore. So Sand Offense is just amazing. They don't have to waste a slot on Defog on
you're
Latias or
forgetting
Latios,
Omega Trevenants even.
and you just spin. You know, like
It's
there's
time for
no ways.
Kathy.
Kathy to rise to OU.
Kathy's
I
time is
saw this-
now.
I saw this one dude running Jellicent. Like you're pretty
You're desperate.
You're desperate.
Hey man,
Yeah.
it was OU last gen.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so was
It
Rain.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So was Rain, and Thunderous wasn't in the tier.
And so is Toxicroak.
that's true.
Let's
That's
just-
Polytoad.
Yeah. Let's just all play Gen 5. It was better.
All right. What do y'all have to say about it?
Oh, I just realized my backup recording is going to be shit because I still have Lil Wayne playing in the background.
Oh.
Leave it in.
Some
God.
people may
I
call
mean,
it
Richard
shit.
apparently doesn't care about copyright claims as he just went ahead and uploaded VGC Worlds finals.
I mean, somebody needs to take it into their own hands and upload it for the people who want to see Pachirisu do well. I guess no, we're not even gonna jump topics. Back on the Aegislash.
Kyo, what do you have to say about it?
I'm indifferent. I mean, I'm excited for it because I get to try new shit. I don't have to do cookie cutter teams anymore. It's kind of nice because there's a lot of offensive playstyles. You can do Metacham offense. You can run Magnezone Pinsir. It's just I don't know. I find it really fun because I get to experiment with new playstyles. I'm really indifferent to what happens in OU though. I could really kind of not care.
Yeah. In terms of OU, I haven't really tried. I generally work my way down the tiers as the tiers develop that generation, and I normally stay in NU. OU, Last gen I played it a lot because Rain was really fun, and I got to experiment with like really niche stuff in Rain.
Mm-hmm.
And this gen is just kind of like, I don't know. Like Aegislash getting banned definitely helps people use other stuff. Like Halucha now, it still wasn't great, but at least now you can use it on a team without just getting completely shit on by Aegislash and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent to it as well. I'm with Kyo. I don't really care what happens in OU because I'm not an OU player, but it's nice to see some development, I guess. Recognizing stuff is over centralizing and getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Tyler even plays.
I do know I played a fair bit of OU. My opinion on Aegislash being banned, Aegislash, whatever you want to call it, like, I feel it was just such a staple in OU, and that's just what OU is. Like, another staple would be Azumarill. Like, you either have the belly drum set or you're going banded. As far as I know, there's not a whole lot of other sets to run. Like Dragonite, you run weakness policy, or 83 sets. And like those things, those niche mons, they're not so much niche, they're like staple mons, and they have their sets and they're not overpowered. I don't know, when I played OU, I didn't find the two sets that I knew of Aegislash, the SD and the Special, like I didn't find them overpowered. I ran into Subtoxic a couple times, and I don't know about banning. It's just, but again, I'm indifferent. I don't really care. I don't play OU.
Things that people aren't indifferent to is Combusken. Jumping all the way from OU right down to the NU.
Fucking segues.
Hello? How else do you work a podcast?
Just say moving on to the next topic. You don't gotta say speaking of things people are indifferent to.
Segways are weird, eh?
Hello.
Airplane food too, man. So
Segues are weird
Combusken.
anyways.
Alright. Regardless, Combusken also got banned since the last time we did a podcast. One of the most centralizing and really annoying pieces of crap in NU. It's now gone. Tyler, you weren't even there when Combusken was a thing.
Single-handedly made I Play Tennis Lola man.
Yeah, basically.
So, for those of you that don't know, basically what happened is Combusken started getting used for whatever reason, and it was extremely broken and it got banned. Like, that's it. There's really no discussion. It was
Chicken Pass was the meta of the game-defining era, and it's just no more.
For people that don't know how it worked, or for people like Tyler who weren't there, do you want to explain it?
I know how it worked.
No,
I ran into it before it was cool.
Oh,
So, basically, Combusken is relatively bulky with EV Light, and you'd run bulk up, and you could pass bulk ups to something like Stored Power Zatu, or monsters like Feraligatr and Kangaskhan that are good Pokemon in the tier anyway, and just kind of tear apart teams. And Combusken set up on basically the top 3 mons in the tier at the time, so it not only was it super centralizing, it was also just broken.
Yeah, it was hard to stop because you either had to rely on Haze or you had to rely on Dragon Tail or Roar. And the thing is, with Dragon Tail you could switch into Slurpuff. With a Clear Smog you could switch out to a Kling Klang. With Roar you could go to Zatu. Like they're basically anything that you could throw at Combusken Pass, it could develop and adapt itself to beat whatever you threw at it. And the thing is, you can't revenge it. Once you pass out +2 defense, +2 attack, +3 speed to a Feraligatr, you can't really do anything. You're dying to every hit. he's living every bit of priority.
Every
and,
priority, yeah, exactly.
And he's
That's the big
faster than
thing.
everything. Like it was just one of the most amazing things, and it was just way, way, way too good for NU. And
I mean, it was, and then to take it even farther, we tried to use it in RU so that it would rise via usage, and Richard got up to like top 40 in
yeah,
RU.
I got up to I
Combusken.
peaked at like 32 or something like that with a really shitty team with 5 NU pokes and an Aloma Mola.
Just because Combusken Pass was so good. Like the Mon, it wasn't even just a situation of the Mon was too good. It was too good for the metagame because it countered everything that was relevant in it, and like it was just
And today.
it was perfect. Like it was perfect.
Yeah, basically,
really.
like the fact that it could set up on shit like at the time Shiftry, but it could even set up on Feraligatr and Seismitoad and it'd get like 2
To an
bulk
extent,
ups.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think after
that's-
+1 defense on a Violet, Combusken took like 35% from a waterfall. It was
That's
just
insane.
yeah, it wasn't fair, and it's nice to see it gone. It really opened up NU. It made it a lot less dependent on Combusken Pass and trying to counter it. Unfortunately, at the same time, Combusken or Shiftry also left, and that's basically made the whole tier just spike stack offense. But we won't get into that. RU
Yeah.
RU is also suspecting something right now. The test is actually finishing up tonight. Is it, Keo? I think you'd know more about it because you play.
I don't know
RU.
when it's finished. I just know that it's heavily slated that Yanmega and Zoro are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact that they both have majorities as of right now.
Basically, in my time playing RU, I played it a bunch to use Combusken in the tier. They were the 2 mons that just stood out above the rest as like, what the fuck is this Pokemon doing in the tier? It is so far above the rest. The Omega has no switch-ins if you're using Specs Tinted Lens, except Registeel, which can just be
Registeel
pursuit
and
trapped,
Togetic.
which can just be pursuit trapped by Doug Trio. And
I think you just said it was going to be
Pursuit
Pursuit
Trap
Trap
by
by
Doug
Doug
Trio.
Trio, but
I'm
I think
used to
people know
Take
what
that,
you're trying to
Registeel.
say.
I'm used to pursuit trapping, but yeah, trapped in general by Doug Trio, and then Mega Sweeps, and it also has a really good matchup against offense with Speed Boost.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know this is ancient, but the last time I played RU like really competitively was when Frostlass was in the tier, and pretty much every team was Frostlass Zoroark, and you never knew which mon they
Yeah,
led,
that's tough, hey?
and it was just like, so yeah, screw Zoroark.
Zoroark basically just
Yeah.
adds 50-50s to every single turn, and 50-50s is one of the main things that Aegislash just got banned for, the uncompetitiveness of just having to guess every turn.
It's not 50-50s as much as it's not only is it do you not know if it's actually the Zoroark, but it also has just incredible coverage for the tier.
And
like,
it has about 4 different sets it can run.
Yeah, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, Scarf Specs, Band, etc., etc.
You don't
and
know what
like,
Pokemon
oh,
it is.
You have a mon that, like say you want to run SD Cavalion and you want to get past Rhyperior, you can just run Grass Knot on it, like,
Yeah, well,
it just,
Cavalion?
well, it just, like, it
Oh,
works as a
Yeah,
lure.
fixing it for Cavalion, I see, yeah.
Yeah, like, it works as a lure for
Mhm.
pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want it to lure out, you can disguise it as that Pokemon, beat the check and or counter, and then sweep later with the Pokemon you disguised it as. It just wasn't healthy for the RU meta whatsoever.
Which, side note, I have to say, Zoroark makes an excellent partner for Shedinja.
Yeah.
As well as I found Smeargle when it was in the lower tiers. Oh man, those two pair up so well.
Oh.
That sounds gross.
It's so much fun.
But yeah, I think there was a post on the forums that I'll link down below by Mike
That's
Dog,
the one.
and it basically sums up Yanmega, or Zoroark, sorry, in a nutshell. Like, you just don't know what the set it is. You don't know if the Pokemon's actually a Zoroark or something different. You don't know how to react. Every turn basically turns into a guessing game, and
And the thing is it's not really that difficult to keep hazards off the field in RU, because Gligar is such a reliable defogger.
yeah. Not to mention
Yeah,
you have Hitmonlee.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the tier is basically set up for it to succeed.
Yeah, what was that, Keo?
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, it's not as cookie cutter and really easy as people claim it to be. You can't just, like, pair it with an SD Koba. I mean, yes, they work well together, but it doesn't always work out like that. There's a certain bit of strategy to it, and reading what set they are, you can kind of tell by team structure. It's just, I mean, if you got it wrong, you were in a really bad position. I think is what really effed people up. And the thing is, I don't know. I disagree with the fact that people say the person using the Zoroark always has the advantage because there's different ways that it can go down depending on the situation. If they bring it in on Mon that I don't know, you're going to try and set up on with an SD or something like that. There's just always two potential switch-ins on the opponent's team to like the Pokemon you're disguising it as. And the other thing is you can always try and just sack to the Pokemon that you're disguising Zoroark as. I feel like that's an option that people don't realize, so I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I guess that disguising Zoroark isn't always as helpful as people claim it to be. I think it would actually be just as good without illusion. I think illusion kind of makes it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's a solid mon, especially with dark typing. This gen and knockoff being buffed and just it really it's a good mon by itself with 105 speed and all the offensive and going mixed and whatever. But giving it illusion as well just pushes it over the top for especially for a tier like RU.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is pretty much the best way you can quote unquote like predict against it is getting up your hazards
Exactly.
early, you know.
But then again, if they disguise it as something that takes neutral damage from all hazards as well, then that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, a lot of the things you want to disguise Zoroark as take different hazards damage from it.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Such as things like Moltres or Cobalion. I mean, just to
Right.
name. I mean, Yen Mega even just to name it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always the option of being able to tag it. So, like, if you end up toxicking a Zoroark early on, every time it'll come out, it gets the tag, it's a Zoroark, or toxicking the thing that it's disguised as. There are ways to play around it. It just isn't healthy for RU, because RU, I don't know, I feel like RU is one of the most balanced metas at the moment. Between that and NU, most of the other metas are all either stall or stall, basically.
I mean, RU can be fat, but you can still run offense.
Exactly.
Which is nice.
That's the only difference. Like UU's basically, you have
So,
Victini,
right,
and then you have,
I don't know about that statement, but all that slack.
I think UU. I mean, although there are a lot of teams that are really really fat. I think it is pretty much the most balanced tier, and it always will be just because of the tiering policy.
Exactly.
I mean,
Because
people will
they
hate on
ban
it.
anything that's relatively good.
Yeah, and I mean, it works for what their purpose is. Like, they want to have a balanced tier all the time. That's one way to do it. I mean, it may not be the most fun tier all the time, but I mean, it works for what they're trying to do. I wish they'd bring Weavile back, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what switches in on Weavile, Kia?
I guess Lucario.
Suicune. I mean, Lucario checks it. There's tons of things.
You're telling me Suicune likes a +2 knockoff? Oof.
I'm saying it's gonna burn it with Scald before we.
Speaking of which,
Scald.
Ban Scald has been banned by Razori in the never used room, so don't say it anymore.
Yes. Thank God.
You can thank me for that.
All that. Yeah, I missed all that.
Yeah, that happened like last night actually. The NU room chat was getting beyond cancerous, and I PM'd Razori about banning a couple words, and yeah.
I mean, it's a rune chat on Pokemon Showdown. You can't expect it to be a good, healthy chat.
It's true.
I mean, you're filled with children that play Pokemon and old ass niggas that play Pokemon.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's more the old ass people that play Pokemon that are being
and it's the one child that's stupid, and the 12 old ass niggas need to pick on him to feel good about themselves.
Hey, welcome to Pokemon.
Reach it.
Hello.
Okay. And last but not least, Mawile is now being suspected as well in OU. It's been that long. We missed like 4 suspect tests. But Mawile is definitely one of the, if not the biggest threat in OU. Its ability to come in and just intimidate shit, get free SDs, sucker punch anything faster.
Not to mention its typing.
Not to mention its perfect typing. Not to mention huge power with 105 attack.
It's typing and the fact that dependent on your moveset, you can always get around your counters. Like,
Plus priority.
There's no one counter to every single Mawile. So
It is just crazy. Gumi, you're the OU player. Talk.
Alright. So, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a ramble here, but not too long. So, a couple things about Mawile. I think Mawile got a little bit better now that Aegislash is gone, which is kind of scary because it was already one of the best mons in the tier. But at the same time, there is some more stuff now that is kind of more viable that can come in and revenge Mawile. Mega Heracross is a really good example because it has like base 115 defense and the fighting type, so it can't get sucker punched and it OHKOs with close combat, which is nice.
Hmm.
At the same time, uh, one of my biggest pet peeves about Mawile is that people always talk about how Mawile is really good against stall, and it's pretty good against stall. You know, it's a good wall breaker. But the real problem with Mawile is playing against offense, because Sucker Punch is, you know, it's one of the strongest forms of priority in the game. It's base 80 power, the same as extreme speed, which most people regard as, you know, one of the best priority moves.
Brave
And,
bird.
okay. Yeah, yeah, that's coming off like base 82 attack,
And
not
it's still
105
one of the
base
most
power.
influential mons in the game. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, so like the thing about Mawile is playing against offense, specifically the SD set. Basically, if you don't resist Sucker Punch, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that do resist Sucker Punch, in general, are going to be slower, like Tyranitar and stuff like that. You know, one of the calcs that I know off the top of my head is +2 Sucker Punch 100% of the time. OHKO's Greninja after a Stealth Rock and a Spike. In the Deoxys defense meta especially, that was really easy to get up. It's a bit harder to get hazards now, but it's still not too
I mean,
terribly difficult.
You still have level 1
And-
Pineco.
Yeah,
This is true.
yeah. But really, Mawile just tears apart offense. You know, the most common mons in offense are stuff like, you know, Latios, Latias, and those get set up all over, and you just win with Sucker Punch. You don't really have to predict. You have 8 PP and you click it all 8 times. And yeah, the only way you can really bypass it is using Substitute on random mons, and I don't know if it's, you know, broken per se, but it's definitely the best mon in the tier right now.
Top tier, yeah.
I don't know how
I
it's
mean-
not broken. I mean, there are ways to play around it, but it doesn't make it...
Is there a reliable poke that can just kill it, like, every time, like,
No.
just to
I
easily
mean,
revenge
to be
it?
fair,
the
OU
best-
isn't about that. OU's
No,
about
but-
checking.
That's
things.
true, but
OU is about checking stuff. If you had to say there was one, you know, true counter, there are actually 2 that I would call pretty reliable. Heatran is pretty reliable, but they can carry Focus Punch. And if they are running Focus Punch, 1, they're a real man, and 2, you have to make that prediction. So normally it can come in and, you know, it can Will-O-Wisp it or roar it out or
Right.
something like that. And the other is actually Weezing, which is a really good Pokemon right now
Weezing.
because it beats
Landers?
Mega Heracross.
Or not Landers. Yeah, Landers carries Psychic now.
It beats Mega Heracross, and it beats, Weezing beats Mega Heracross, and it beats Mega
Mhm.
Mawile, which are 2 of the bigger threats in the tier. So those are, you know, nice mons that can come in. Other than that, you mostly just have to check it with stuff that can either live a Sucker Punch or, you know, force a 50-50 and then burn it, or force a 50-50 and, you know, sub up or something like that. And, yeah, I mean, it's easily one of the best mons in OU, and I think it'll get banned, and I think it probably justifiably should be banned, especially now that Aegislash is gone. There's just not as much that can kind of abuse Mawile. You know, there's always a balance of, like, you know, Mega Heracross is really good, but it can be abused by, you know, stuff like Pinsir, like you can set up on it, or you know, stuff like that. But Mawile used to have that with Aegislash. It could come in and, you know, set up a sub and start sub-toxicking and all that. But it can't be abused anymore. It just abuses everything in the tier, basically.
Speaking of Aegislash leaving, you now have close combat on Pinsir
Yeah.
instead of
So,
Earthquake.
so at +2, you OHKO Rotom Wash after
That's
rocks.
And
yeah.
you can beat Skarmory more reliably, no?
Not well, kind of. You can get
I mean, you're
damage and then they kill you.
Oh.
The guy in a paper.
Yeah.
How much does a +2 sucker, or how much does a +2 close combat do? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I think it's like 65 to 70.
That's not too bad.
No, but yeah, I mean, Mawile is just against offensive teams, you can't win. Basically.
Yeah, you only have Sucker Punch, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's all you need. Like most people's plan is to go into Thunderous, T-wave it as you click Sucker,
And hope for
and
para.
then
Yeah.
Sucker again and kill it, and then hope that it gets parried. Like that's how you win.
And most
So.
offensive teams don't have anything with sub. Maybe the really rare, if you're the Gumi, you carry substitute Latios or Latias to get past
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that was a cool set.
But outside of that, yeah. Thank you for the calc. So I don't know who just posted that, but somebody posted it. It does 50 to 59.
Yeah.
That's less than I thought.
Nice big damage.
The VGC Worlds finished up just a few days ago. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't even remember.
I think it was Sunday.
I don't know what day it is.
Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday. I remember now.
Because you probably said that to me.
Yeah, I did.
And me and Gumi hung out in call, watched it. VGC God. I don't even I don't remember.
Saint June. Yeah.
He won with a Pachirisu, and
That's pretty awesome.
everyone's making a big deal out of, oh my god, he won with a terrible mon. To be fair, Pachirisu, yeah, it's a decent mon in VGC. It seems like, at least.
I think it's with VGC you can make anything.
I mean, that's true. In doubles, at least.
Anything
That's
that has
what people
follow
about
me
doubles.
is-
I feel like from what I've watched, which is almost nothing when it comes to VGC, it seems pretty decent because it can force Rotom, which is really common, into going for overheat, or I guess if you're running Rotom Wash, Hydro Pump, which isn't accurate. And then overheat obviously won't be doing very much, and you have the Citrus Berry to get yourself back, and if they try to T-Bolt your Gyarados or whatever, you can follow me and recover more health.
Yeah.
Are we actually discussing the viability of Pachirisu in VGC?
Yes.
My dude won worlds with it.
I
But
mean,
like,
This is true.
he's the best
So, like,
in the world.
Yeah.
so like I don't really play VGC. I have like maybe 50 games of VGC all time, and I had like 25 as of a couple days ago. And I actually made a team with Pachirisu, Gyarados, and it's really really good. Like it's honestly a good strategy because you kind of can play mind games. If they know the follow me is going to come, then you can nuzzle something and get off a para. Like you don't always have to click follow me, but it's not a bad strategy to literally click follow me until you die. Like
Yeah, and on top of that, it still has Nuzzle, and in situations like, I think in the first game, he paralyzes Scarf Tyranitar,
yeah,
and you can
yeah.
get Super Fangs off. Like, it seems like a decent mon. In general, VGC seems like one of the most balanced tiers. Even with shit like Mega Kangaskhan, Nintendo just knows how to balance their game.
Well, the reason
Well, the
okay,
thing-
the
the
reason
thing
that
with
doubles is good is because you have two mons that can target something. So like yeah, there's protect, but if there's a threat on the field, you can attack it twice and make sure it's gone that turn.
Yeah, and setting up is less powerful.
Well, that and the ability to protect while your other mon takes things out. It's you're always having something to check it. So what if your Mawile can't be the Ferrothorn because it doesn't have Fire Fang? You can have a Garchomp with Fire Blast right next to it or something. No, there's two team members working. It's not just the one.
You're basically a VGC god, Kyo. You should
Oh shit, dude! I haven't played in months.
Also, I made a Dennis Baton Pass team in VGC, and it's broken.
Nigga
I
ran
had-
con artist with Geomancy Smirgle.
Not
I
bad.
had like 5 mons with follow me, quick guard, wide guard. I had all the guards, and I had Geomancy Pass to Espeon. It was a fun time.
I saw that you sent me a couple of replays, and it looked it looked good. I'll leave it at that.
I got up to like 1450, not even kidding. Oh
man.
gosh.
But I don't know. It was really cool to see, actually, the power that, like, as long as it's not based so much around the most powerful Pokemon. It sounds cliche as fuck, but it really is true that throwing the most powerful mons on a team doesn't often work. As long as you have decent team structure and mons that actually work together, you'll always come out on top. And this motherfucker was running a Pachirisu just because it supported his team pretty well, and next thing you know, he's the world champion. So I don't know. It was pretty cool to see the backlash, or not the backlash, I guess. The outcry,
Reactions?
the reaction, yeah, has been great from the community.
Oh
in
god,
general.
the people there were going crazy when that thing lived the Draco. Oh my lord.
Yeah, I think
There's been like fan art and everything. Yeah.
yeah, I think I honestly hope that more people in the competitive community start playing VGC. I know a lot of people that dismiss it as a tier because of idiots like, Felicify and whatever, but I mean, having played it,
He said the word.
He
I
said
said
the B word.
no.
This podcast
Alright,
is now
I'm
being
gonna
taken
get
down.
I'm gonna get an angry email. But like,
Hate comments, send them
I've
all
played-
to @IamTheGoomy.
yeah, yeah. But like, I love playing singles. Like, I play a lot of singles, but playing VGC is really really fun, and it's made me consider next year actually going and trying to compete
yeah.
in VGC.
I would, but I
Because
live in
it's-
Canada.
Like,
Dude,
it's
it's really fun. It's a rewarding experience, and I definitely recommend it. I mean, I went to regionals this year. Fortunately, I brought the wrong team and didn't do too hot. I think I went, 6-2, 7-2, whatever. Missed top cut by a little bit, but it's a really fun experience. You get to chat with other people that play Pokemon too, which is really cool.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I would look at it more as a break from singles, because singles is getting so dull, especially this generation now that things have started to settle down. And I mean, I don't know. I just haven't been feeling Pokemon as much lately, so I feel like VGC can also work as kind of like a break where you can balance two different games, because it basically is a completely different game with different strategies.
And for people that want to get into VGC, I'd suggest doing it more towards the middle or the end of the season, because what happens with me a lot is when the new rule sets come out, I'll make teams, I'll play a lot, I'll breed pokes to play with in-game and stuff, and I'll get burned out on it real quick, and I won't really go back and revisit it, just because it's not something that I do too often, and I really wish I'd started playing later in the year. And the other thing is, if you play all year long, I mean, you'll realize that the VGC metagame really shifts a lot. The beginning of it's really offensive. Things are running max spreads with attack and speed a lot of the time. And then towards the end, you're getting things like Choice Bandit Garchomp with enough HP and defense to live a Dragon Claw and OHKO other Garchomp back. It's just, the things change so much that it's almost not worth learning at the beginning if you're not going to come back and compete later in the year.
And
Yeah.
Berries basically are I think there is item clause, right? I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's item clause.
Berries basically rule the land between type resist berry, citrus berry, resto chesto. You get a lot more diverse things than just a bunch of pokes with leftovers and life orbs. So
Safety goggles is a good one.
Yeah, safety goggles. It's an interesting item.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, I think it's the thing that's cool about VGC is that I feel like there are actually more mind games in VGC than there are in singles, because every turn you have to predict what they're going to do with two slots. Not necessarily two mons, but are they going to switch? Are they going to, whatever. And you have to consider what mons they brought of the 6,
Yeah, you have a lot
So-
more things to think about per turn. Instead of each player having, 9 choices per turn between switching out to 5 things or clicking 4 moves, you have, a ton of choices you can do per turn.
And by that you mean 10.
I mean,
I
mean, you have 8 moves
Well-
to choose between. You have different pokes you can switch around to different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into permutation.
I'm not gonna go into
But-
that either. I'm just saying you
But-
you have more than 9.
And having spoken to people that play VGC, like, the game is won and lost in team preview, which is kind of fun, Like, it's not, downright.
To an
won
extent.
and
I mean,
lost.
so
yeah,
so
it's not downright won and lost. But
so
you
Baton
can
Pass was
lose.
like that.
Like, you can lose in team preview based on the mons you choose,
I mean, when you have a 50% chance to flinch one of your opponent's Pokemon with Rock Slide, I mean, it's pretty fair to say you can come back with a Scarf Chomp.
Yeah.
There's shit like that, though. People joke.
This just in: the Gumi officially thinks matchups chosen by Team Preview is fun. Meanwhile, he's a hater of Baton Pass.
No.
Speaking of segues,
Speaking of segues to what? We're out of
no,
topic.
that was my segue.
do you want to segue to something? Do you have something to bring
No.
up? Because we're out of topic.
No,
friend.
I'm awake again. I think I fell asleep during that whole VGC chat.
Oh, VGC's not your thing.
Tyler, I was asleep at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay,
That's
we'll
what
all take
I
turns sleeping.
tried to ramble, did not work out.
Oh, God.
I couldn't think of a scenario where my thoughts were put onto paper.
Let me say one thing about Richard's negativity, because I hear this sort of negative, this tier is stale, blah blah blah. Richard, you are, negative Nancy, and I don't like that. I think that there's so much you can do in each of the tiers right now, and
Kathy.
when a tier
Kathy.
is stale, when it is set on stall, like I feel like it's just that this whole new world, like what can I construct to specifically beat this specific thing, which is taking over the tier right now. Like Manaphy, I threw together my Shedinja team because Shedinja
okay. To be fair,
shuts down everything.
when Kia was talking about how broken Manaphy would be, I just pointed at Shedinja.
Yeah, Shedinja walls it. Besides banded Manaphy with knockoff, I mean that thing's terrifying.
I mean, I put HP
But,
Fire on my Manaphy at first. But
like, yeah, Manaphy runs the same 3 moves. It's very, very over-centralizing, and it is making the tiers stale. So, like, I don't know, you construct whole things around that, and I think that's, like, that for me is at least what makes Pokemon fun, is trying to, like, beat all of these crazy challenges.
I definitely understand.
But Richard's just super negative, and he just gives up as soon as something gets set in as the norm.
Okay.
I don't know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, this is why we use Dual Dance right on an NU now.
No, that's the thing. That's why I do like NU, because you can basically everything. The rule about NU is nothing is worthless until it's proven. So like
Assault Vest Metapod's pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
dude, Electro Web is the god.
Gen 5 Sticky Web, right? But like,
why did they not give Metapod Sticky Web? Like,
I guess that's true.
Just Metapod, make it a
Then,
level 100
Butterfree,
event.
Butterfree would learn it.
Release it.
Make it a level 100
Yeah,
event.
exactly. Make it level 100 event.
Level 100 event Shell Smash Shell God.
Yes, please. Can we have that, Nintendo? Along with there's one more that Blastoise. Give Blastoise Shell Smash as well, please.
You guys in your Theorymon, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Alright, so segues are weird.
No, there was actually something I wanted to add there. That's why I like NU, because you can take stuff like Rhydon, who normally only is known as like a Stealth Rockmon, and you give it Dual Dance. I did this the other day with Brawlfest and Pawniard.
More specs.
I don't think anyone has ever used Dual Dance. At least I've never seen them use Dual Dance Pawniard. And
I've used Bisharp in UU in Gen 5 Dual Dance.
But
Steven was running Double Dance Bisharp yesterday.
I lost over and over. It was so bad.
But at least in NU, it isn't terrible. The thing is, you can innovate, and maybe 1 out of 10 of your innovations are mediocre at best, and maybe 1 out of 10 of those actually work. But even then, 1 in 100 of your things is going to become the next norm, and being able to say
Richard, I don't want to build 100 teams.
I mean, neither do I. That's why I give up. I'm just saying, it can be rewarding. It can be rewarding.
What you do is you do what I did and be like, Combusken has some pretty cool typing, and then ruin the tier.
Anyway, I think we're going to hit up some questions. The first one.
How about that segue?
The first one here. Yeah. You guys bitching me about my segues earlier.
You can't be too abrupt, like. So we're going into questions?
Like, Richard waits till a silence and is like, okay. Speaking of questions.
There was no silence there. Go back and listen.
Like, Richard, you could just say speaking of whatever, and people are going to be like, yeah, sure, they were talking about that, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Kyo being an ass.
Wow, my feelings.
I know. Anyway, the first question. Hey guys, just wondering, what was your favorite memory from playing Pokemon, both in-game and competitively?
Alright, I vote DMT goes first.
Oh, this takes me back. Oh, man. Alright, so when I was a kid, I was one of those kids that, like, my parents were super granola in the sense that, like, I wasn't allowed to go into other kids' houses and just sit down and play video games all day. Like, I just wasn't. So my way around that was I would sit outside the window with the PS1 controller, and then I would be outside and I would be playing video games. So the similar thing with Pokemon, like, when Pokemon came out and it was on the Game Boy and you could take it anywhere, like, just all the places you go play Pokemon, like, play Pokemon on the trampoline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is so cool.
On the freaking
I
trampoline.
play it on the. It sounds like one of those really bad infomercials. Like, you can play it on the toilet, on the trampoline,
Anywhere.
You can take your Pokemon anywhere.
And that's what opened my eyes to Pokemon Yellow, first time ever. Was and then in game, quickly, the only thing that I can think of that comes to mind was when me and Kalawaki were doing a commentary, and it was, what was it? It was my Reuniclus versus Jellicent, we went for the psychic,
Did they reveal Energy Ball Jellison?
and then and then he did some fancy did protect and saw that I had Shadow Ball, and he had a Bisharp. So I was like, hey, should I go for the Focus Blast predicting Bisharp? He was like, oh, you could do it, yeah. And then I did it, and I hit the Bisharp with the Focus Blast, and it was a Jellison that was in. And I don't know, I explained it very poorly, but that's my most fun moment that I can think of.
My best moment
It's
was
like
when I made a
thunderbolting
prediction.
ground type.
I made a prediction this one time.
Guys, I thunderbolted a ground type and they switched in a water type, predicting HP Ice. I'm a lord.
This one time in Gen 5, I used HP Ice on a Jellison, and they went to their Gliscor.
Yeah.
Boon and Geru.
You went for the HP Ice on the Farungeru, predicting the Gliscor.
That was nice, but
Most fun memory is making a prediction this one time.
The really
Where?
good play was
Alright.
bluffing the specs.
Gumi's next.
All right. So, in game, favorite memory is honestly, I've played since the start. My first game ever was Blue, and then
Damn hipster.
kept playing from there. But my favorite memory was actually in the middle of Pokemon Sapphire, the first time I was playing. And when Team Aqua told me that their plan was to flood the Earth. So the reason this stuck with me is like, how are you trying to convince kids that anyone would believe this is a good idea? Like, I want to flood the entire Earth.
A group of adults. No, nonetheless.
Like, who honestly believes that that's a good idea? And then you have these other idiots who are convinced that getting rid of all water is a good idea. And I was just dying.
So Gumi is like the 8-year-old like analysis, sitting there in his business suit playing Pokemon. Like, wait, this
My
is
calculations are correct. Removing all your water from the planet's surface would be a disaster.
It's just such a bad idea.
That's a fair point.
Alright, and on another note, competitively.
it's totally beating RS Cocaine, right?
No. As much as I like beating RS Cocaine, my favorite was the time that I decided to make a stall team in Gen 5. And it was weatherless stall with Xatu. I had Xatu plus a spinner, basically to guarantee no hazards. And it was Rocky Helmet Xatu. And based on this guy's team, I figured he was using like Spadef T-Tar, like he was defensive T-Tar. So I go into my Xatu on Stealth Rock and I bounce his rocks. And he's like, well, you're trapped now. He goes for Pursuit and I roosted. And I killed him with Rocky Helmet. He was so stubborn. He roosted like 10 times in a row. Or he pursued like 10 times in a row and died to Rocky Helmet. And it was so satisfying because that dude refused to click crunch.
Whenever you beat someone who's being a general asshole in the chat, it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
There are too many of those people on Showdown.
I think it's the internet is the
Myself
problem.
included.
Okay, I guess I can't pick one favorite in-game moment. I think I'm gonna have to go with two. I actually had them picked out. I totally forget them. Okay. So the first one was Christmas morning 2004. Got my brand new shiny DS Lite. Got Fire Red. It was actually okay. It sounds really bad, but before that, I didn't play many video games. I think it would honestly be the first video game I owned, and before that, I think the only video games I played was on the NES. I used to play Super Mario 3 with my dad every so often when I got home from school. So I mean, at least I had good roots. I played Super Mario 3 on the NES. I wasn't that deprived, but
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the first video game I played that I owned personally was Fire Red, and I played the hell out of that thing. I was so proud when I got my Charizard to level 100. it was but I think my favorite memories definitely come from Sapphire. First off, I got it for my 10th birthday, and I knew all Pokemon trainers had to be 10 when they started their journey. So I waited until 10:04 p.m. when I officially turned 10 to start my file, and I still have that file. I have it at 999 sitting there. Have every Pokemon in the decks, like, and maxed out items. Oh my god, I've transferred them all onto my Platinum by now, and my Platinum got corrupted, so I'm pretty sad. But yeah, regardless. And then my second favorite would have to be on that copy of Sapphire. the time was like grade 4. Pokemon was in at my school. Like everyone had their cards out at recess, either making up ways to play VG or trading card game, or just doing like link battles and shit. And Feebas was like this hot commodity, and we would always. I must have spent like 30 hours fishing there one night, and some guy at my school. He was in like 2 grades ahead of me, and he always talked to me. And he mentioned he knew a secret code for Dewford Town where you could put it in, and he told me what block to catch it. And I was with like 3 of my friends in my basement, and we were doing it. And I'm like, okay, this should work. And I just remember all of us looking over this little screen, and as soon as Feebas came up, we're all like, yes! And we like got into this huddle on the floor, like, we did it! It was just.
God, you're a nerd.
I know. But oh my god, that was like the greatest thing, and I got so much shit for that. Like people were giving me their Groudons and Latioses and stuff for a Feebas. Oh, it felt good. As for competitive, I don't think I have like one exact moment. Maybe the time that I decided to put Substitute over Return on my Special Defensive Braviary, but outside of that, just playing with Rain in Gen 5 in general, like basically every game was really fun, no matter what you were facing, what team you were using. I just really felt comfortable playing with Rain, and I miss it a lot.
Because it was broken.
I know.
It wasn't broken, it was just good.
I miss weather in general. I know we talked about it on a previous podcast, but it just opened up so many options for so many Pokemon. Like Cresselia this gen is worthless, and at least last gen it had a niche in Sun, but whatever. I won't get into that. Keo.
Oh, my turn to answer the question. Thank God. Almost out of here.
Damn.
Let's see. My favorite memories from playing Pokemon, both in-game and competitively, huh? Well, let's see.
We gave you all this time to think.
I know,
He was
right?
sleeping.
I was listening to your stories.
Damn.
Nah, but I mean, I've been playing since Red, Blue, Yellow.
Damn, another
I've been
hipster.
I've been playing for quite a while, but I would say my favorite memories from playing Pokemon are probably more recent. Probably just in high school. Like, let's see. I think it was probably sophomore year. Heart Gold, Soul Silver came out, and those are the days when they let you play video games in school. Still, I don't know if they still let you do that shit. I played the shit out of Heart Gold and Soul Silver in Humanities, and I played the shit out of it in French class. Oof, dude! Like the kids in my school, that was like actually a cool thing to do among kids. And like we were about to start our own gym league and shit too. Like I don't know, never really got off the ground, but I wanted to be the Dragon type leader.
Yeah, of course you did. I can relate to playing in class though. Speaking of grade 4, I remember so many kids in French class had their DS inside their desks, and they were just like chilling there with it playing. They had the sounds off, and like the French teacher walked by like, "What's that in your desk?" And she'd walk over and pull it out like, "What the hell is this?"
Zootalours!
She wouldn't say what the hell, but yeah.
Ooh la la! Alright, Keo.
But yeah, shit like that was pretty fun. I mean, we'd be battling at lunch, and instead of eating lunch and shit, I'd eat lunch in my next class. It was good times in general playing Pokemon in school with friends. Anyways, competitively, best Pokemon favorite memory. You spelled favorite like a Canadian, Richard. I hate you.
Yeah.
You're like
I don't know.
American.
I don't know. Every game that I don't get hacked, I guess. Like I don't know. I don't really have a favorite memory. I guess. I don't know. Probably the first time I peaked relatively high on the OU ladder, I peaked 6th on PO. I think it's probably a year and a half ago now. That was like my first ever like legitimate ladder peak, though. I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of cool though. For like being the first one to be an OU and be that high. So yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
showing you're the best in the world. You're still never going to be better than Gumi though.
Hello?
I mean, let's be honest. Gumi's a hack god.
Do I even dignify that with a response?
Gumi's basically a certified hacks god.
I'm not. I don't hack people. Hello?
Nigga, you're worse than DMT. You say it anyway.
Nah, yo, that didn't matter.
Gooey should have a scarf Rachi.
Like, no matter what hack Steven gets, the first thing out of his mouth is, "It didn't matter."
Yep.
Yeah, you play around hacks.
And then the rest of the battle, we're constantly trying to explain it. Oh, you know, if you had that, no, it didn't matter.
Yep.
It didn't.
Yep.
No. You play around it.
And then Steven's one of those guys who'll just be like, "Oh, I had this for it," but like, wait, Steven, that doesn't beat that. Doesn't matter. I had it for it.
Hmm. You guys don't understand how frustrating it is to play with this guy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Watching him get all of his hacks, and it's like, yeah, I'm 1800 on the OU ladder. Didn't matter.
It didn't.
All right. On to the second question. With Shadow Tag banned in lower tiers, do you think Gothitelle has any viability?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, damn it, Keo. No, it's absolutely terrible. Wobbuffet is like, yeah, you can use Wobbuffet. He's a cool guy. But Gothitelle, no. Like, I would prefer to use Kadabra.
But it gets competitive.
In terms of NU,
It gets competitive, therefore God. It's dropping to NU.
yeah, in NU it's going to be pretty cool to use, but we won't be able to use it there for like what, a year.
6 months, yeah.
You know what's going to really suck? I really hope Mawile gets banned before the 30th, because then it'll drop, I think, to UU right away because of the
Really?
tier update. I hope that's how it works. They might hold it back for 3 months. Either way, we're not getting Mawile to NU until like 2015, like late 2015.
But ORAS.
It's still a good type.
I mean, I still think it's going to go to NU. It'll be really good if it does. I hope it goes to NU. I could see,
Yeah, it'd be the best one in the tier.
yeah, it would be. I could see it staying RU though. Who knows?
Play rough. Like, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, Sheer Force, Sucker Punch.
is
Play
not
Rough.
a thing.
Shut up. Sheer.
It gets Iron Head
Yeah,
and Fire.
yeah, exactly. Ironhead,
Yeah.
Ironhead, Play Rough, SD, and Sucker Punch.
It doesn't get Moonblast, does it?
No.
It doesn't get what?
Moonblast.
No,
we're about to
that'd
run
be
a call.
amazing.
That would be-
Speaking of amazing, I want Serene Grace, Mega Melodic, Dragon, Water Fairy with.
Stream on it, or is this actually?
No. I want it.
Okay, that's great.
Serene Grace with Scald and Moonblast. Oh my god.
Serene Grace Skull, kill yourself.
Why would you wish that on the world?
Because I want them to ban Scald.
Dude, Chansey would be the most used Pokemon if that was a thing.
No, because there's recover.
No, you don't kill it, you just stall.
Yeah, you TP stall it.
You just take all 16 of those skulls.
Yeah.
Uh,
Give Chansey pressure pulls.
it would be wonderful. Anyway,
So I'm gonna say it's probably not gonna be very good. Gothitelle is pretty garbage.
yeah.
To sum it up,
No.
complete trash.
As a mon, it's only used as trapping shit, and it's pretty good at trapping shit. They want to ban it apparently in Uber.
Can't
Wow,
do it
this
no
is-
more.
Well, this is why I realized it was pretty garbage the other day. I was using Scarf Gothitelle and I trapped a Skarmory. And I went for a T-Bolt and it did
Didn't
like
even kill.
it did like 65% or something garbage like
so
that.
weak.
I was
Well,
like,
Your first
doesn't-
problem was using Scarf.
Well, my team needed a Scarf.
And you didn't go with Lando?
No, that's I
It
already had.
it already had a defensive land.
Yeah, I had defensive Lando already.
Alright. And on to the last question today. What is the best OU wall breaker without Aegislash?
Mega Metacham, Mega Heracross.
I mean, can we talk without them? Because that's an obvious answer.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I don't even know OU, and that's just the answer that came to mind.
Yeah. The answer is if you get rid of Mawile, Heracross, and Metacham. I mean, those are three.
But that's non-Mega.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, like those are really really good wall breakers, and a surprising one that I don't really see that much is actually Dragonite. Banded Dragonite is a monster now that Aegislash is gone. There aren't really too many mons. I mean, there are fairies, but not much wants to take Outrage. Another really good wall breaker is Banded Azumarill. It just hits everything really
And
really
double
hard.
edge for thingy, right? Venusaur?
You can, but that's a bad set.
That's another thing with you. Everything's a bad set.
That is a bad
Just quickly as a side note, I know this is totally off topic, but you know what I saw the other day that's actually really cool? Heracross with double edge for Florges.
That's awesome.
Just throwing that out there.
That's
Because
cool.
otherwise, Florges shuts it down. But yeah, you can run double edge.
That is cool.
Speaking of segues,
Yeah, and
What does Lord just
another.
take from Abandoned Mega Horn? Hello?
Like,
it resists it and then kills it with Moonblast.
yeah, not very much. Like 30%
Talking
probably.
about
And then
it's more than 30. Oh.
Yeah, that's 40.
it does like 40, but
Oh,
it's not.
okay.
But a couple other good wall breakers. Calm Mind Lando is really good, and Life Orb Kyurem Black is highly underrated in my opinion. Life Orb. I mean, yeah, you're weak to rocks, and then you lose HP with Life Orb, but I mean, nothing lives.
It's bulky.
Yeah, it's relatively bulky. And yeah, that's pretty much it for wall breakers. I mean, OU is kind of playing against Stall isn't so much about wall breaking, it's more about controlling the hazards and killing Chansey.
How do you go about killing Chansey?
You double switch every time predicting Chansey. Like, I have a special attacker in, might as well go Chansey. I have Keldeo in, I'm clicking Secret Sword. Like, every time. Like, you have to predict Chansey. And normally a good stall breaker is, like, Taunt Gyarados is nice. Stuff like that.
Alright. Well.
Yeah, indubitably.
OU God Gumi has spoken.
Alright, you gotta stop calling people gods when they're not.
I mean, Gumi's basically the best at everything. Let's be honest here.
Hello?
Why are you sucking this man's dick?
He's the only one who knows how to play OU.
That's a fair statement.
Whoa. You act
No,
like
Kia,
OU's a
you don't know shit.
Keo, just stop.
Let's be honest.
You act like Pokemon is a difficult game to play. It's easy. Don't get hacked.
Don't get hacked.
Predict obvious shit.
Keo, I'm number 50 in OU right now.
I'm top 500 of the world.
Top 500
Yeah.
of the world.
There are only 49 people in the world better than me.
In the world.
because ladder is totally
Ladder equates to skill directly.
yeah,
Absolutely.
easy.
If you don't have a good skill on the ladder or a high number next to your name on the ladder, who are you?
Yeah, like Blue, who's that nigga? Like
FLCL, he doesn't even ladder. He's
Yeah.
trash.
Who are these faggots?
yeah.
Anyway, on that note, I guess.
Speaking of segues.
On the note of Richard being an ignorant fuck.
Hello.
That's gonna be it for today's podcast, boys and girls. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here. Thank you to Tyler, our special guest, for being here.
Thanks for
And,
being
we'll
alive.
see you guys in-
No. Ah! Leave questions.
yeah,
leave questions so we actually have things to talk about.
Yeah, it gets boring sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys in another 3 weeks, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Bye.
Bye.